Welcome to the Gold Collection, a 24-carat guide through A to Z, shining the spotlight on the best of the best from the world of entertainment. T is for Therapeutic, Tragedy, Triumph, Taxi, Transgender, Tap Dancing, Tension, and more. T is for Therapeutic. Just breathe in and out, relax, and let the healing begin. Our first therapy seeker is Uma Thurman's character in Prime. Thurman played Rafi, a 37-year-old photography producer reeling from a recent divorce, who meets David, a 23-year-old painter recently out of college. Meryl Streep plays Rafi's therapist, Dr. Lisa Metka, who unfortunately happens to be the mother of her new lover.
Bye.
Wonder if that type of therapy helps or hinders those deep-seated emotional issues.
It's incredible. We have had sex on every surface of my apartment.
Speaking of sex, this therapist specialises in it.
I'm a sex therapist who specializes in senior sexuality.
Yes, it's Barbara Streisand. After an 8-year absence, Barbara returned to the big screen for Meet the Fockers, playing Ben Stiller's mother in the sequel to the 2000 hit Meet the Parents. In the film, she plays the part of a sex therapist who takes it upon herself to help her future in-laws with their love-making antics.
Why? Because we love our son? We hug our son? Let's get down to it. The truth is, you are so concerned about that little Jack, but I think that it's the little Jack in you who's crying out for a hug.
Paul, I'm gonna give
Before
you
he was
some
in
tests
Meet the
to
Fockers,
assess your mental
Robert De
condition.
Niro was in therapy with his wacky shrink Billy Crystal in the movie Analyze That, the sequel to the hit 1999 comedy Analyze This.
Here's the first card. Now look at it and tell me what you see.
Some of the comedy's funniest moments included the scenes where Crystal runs tests on De Niro to judge his mental capacity. Even De Niro had a tough time performing it all with a straight face. But laughter is the best medicine.
Excellent, Paul. 1 hour and 12 minutes.
T is for Tragedy. Grab the tissues. You may need them. Clint Eastwood's directorial project Mystic River explored the interwoven history of 3 men, the terrible events that shaped their future, and the tough choices they eventually had to make. The film looked beyond the traditional murder mystery, exploring the effect that a crime from the past had on all characters' lives.
It's my daughter's car.
He said my daughter in there! He said my daughter in there! Get out!
The tragedy won both Sean Penn and Tim Robbins Academy Awards. This Tommy Lee Jones tragedy is the story of friendship and loyalty between 2 men from different cultures. In the 3 burials of Melquiades Estrada, Jones plays a Texas rancher investigating the killing of one of his employees, an illegal immigrant from Mexico with whom he'd formed an unexpected bond. Jones kidnaps the border patrolman who has murdered his Mexican friend and forces him on a long journey to rebury the corpse in the man's hometown.
What did he do?
Él mató a Melquiades Estrada.
Our final tragedy is The Pianist. Director Roman Polanski addressed his own World War II experience in the highly personal Holocaust drama. The film looks at the behaviour of besieged people in terrifying circumstances.
If you poison us, do we not die? And if you wrong us, shall we not revenge?
What makes this tragedy so heartbreaking is that it's based on true events. T is for triumph. They usually happen against all odds. North Country starred Academy Award winner Charlize Theron and was inspired by a true story of triumph. The movie followed Theron's character Josie Ames as she returns to her hometown to work at the iron mines.
If she wins, this will affect every company in America.
What are you supposed to do when the ones with all the power are hurting those with none? You stand up for your friends. Stand up and tell the truth.
When Ames speaks out against the treatment she and her fellow workers face, she is met with resistance, but eventually triumphs.
Didn't she?
I don't want to shut down the mine. I just want to go to work.
Another tale of triumph inspired by a true story is the tale of Seabiscuit. The 2003 film about an underdog racehorse named Seabiscuit stays true to the tale of three men: auto magnate Charles Howard, horse trainer Tom Smith, and jockey Johnny Red Pollard, who shaped the legend Seabiscuit and in the process rebuilt their own shattered lives. Don't we all love it when the underdog triumphs? For our final triumph, we head into space to watch the trouble that happened aboard the moon-bound Apollo 13.
Okay, hold it right there. That's it. Back. No, Fred, I'm back. I'm losing it. 20 seconds. Bring the Earth up.
The film followed the crew, their families and mission control as they try everything they can against all odds to see those aboard the crippled spacecraft arrive back to Earth safely.
Okay, I got it. Damn it, that's mine. That's me. Round. Good work. Come on, baby.
Triumph and true stories equal big money at the box office.
Steady. Shut down.
T is for Taxi. Our first Taxi film is the psychological thriller Collateral. Tom Cruise turned villainous for the film to play Vincent, an assassin hired by a drug cartel to murder key witnesses in an impending trial. With 5 executions planned for the night, he takes a taxi driver, played by Jamie Foxx, hostage to drive him from one location to the next.
Oh, no!
The lesson to be learned from this film was, if you're a taxi driver, avoid picking up Tom Cruise lookalikes with grey hair. The good news, however, if you do, you may receive an Academy Award nomination.
Now we got to make the best of it. Improvise, adapt to the environment. Darwin, it happens, I Ching, whatever, man. We got to roll with it.
I Ching, what are you talking about, man? You threw a man out of a window.
I didn't throw him. He fell.
On the other hand, you may want to be careful who you get in a taxi with.
Buckle up for safety, mother.
In Taxi, Queen Latifah plays Belle Williams, a taxi driver who has earned a reputation for being the fastest in New York. Not content, Belle dreams of becoming a professional race car driver. When pulled over by an eager cop whose undercover skills are about as good as his driving, she gets a chance to show just what she and her taxi can do.
Towards Queensboro Bridge.
Hot on the heels of a gang of sexy Brazilian bank robbers, Belle is only too happy to help catch the bad girls. T is for Transgender. Our first transgender character is played by Felicity Huffman. In Transamerica, Huffman plays Stanley Bree Osborne, a man preparing for a sex change operation who has to deal with the sudden appearance of a long-lost son.
I got a phone call last night. It claimed to be Stanley's son.
No third person.
My son.
Her therapist withholds permission for the final part of her operation until she meets her son, so the pair take a road trip.
Let's go. I'll put hair on your chest.
In this music group, they pout, move their hips and sing seductively as hundreds of teenagers cheer. The four sexy divas on the stage, however, are actually men. Known as Lady, the transgender pop foursome took South Korea by storm. They challenged the country's traditional views on the role of men and women by openly admitting they underwent sex changes and are flaunting the results. The cross-dressing caper Connie and Carla is a homage to gender-bending classics such as Some Like It Hot and Victor Victoria.
And still manage to steal the show.
I'll be home at work.
Is he singing?
Connie and Carla teamed Toni Collette and Nia Vardalos. In the film, they played women, pretending to be men, pretending to be women. Then one of them begins to fall for a straight man who thinks she's a gay man. Anyone else confused?
Because of you, we're in hiding for life as women, dressed as men, dressed as women.
You okay?
I must have played football in high school.
T is for tap dancing. Gregory Hines, the Tony Award-winning tap dancing actor who starred on Broadway as well as in many films, including The Cotton Club, was considered one of the top dancers of his generation. The native New Yorker who won a 1992 Tony for the musical Jelly's Last Jam first found fame performing jazz tap with his brother Morris. In 2001-2002, Francis Brunn put together the stage show Incognito, a dance show with a difference. It attempted to blend flamenco dance and American tap into a 2-hour performance. The two dance forms may originate on two different continents, but there is a lot of history that unites them. Apparently, tap dancing is a talent easy to tap into. Our final dancer is none other than Michael Flatley, whose name is quickly associated with extravaganzas like Riverdance and The Lord of the Dance, which have been seen by tens of millions of spectators. Flatley has performed before world leaders, earned up to $1.6 million a week as a dancer, and had his legs insured for $40 million. T is for tension, and it's the sexual tension between these couples that keep us coming back for more. The film Intolerable Cruelty saw the sparks fly between George Clooney and Catherine Zeta-Jones. Clooney played ace divorce attorney Miles Massey, whose killer charm and underhanded tactics had won more cases for more clients than any matrimonial lawyer in all of Los Angeles.
Marilyn, what a pleasant...
But after years of nothing but success, something is missing from his life. Enter Marilyn Rexroth, the devastatingly gorgeous Zeta-Jones.
I could have you disbarred for that.
You fascinate me.
Their tension was electric. In the movie Laws of Attraction, Pierce Brosnan also played the role of a divorce lawyer, but he fell in love with a colleague played by Julianne Moore. The couple find they're not immune to the same marital difficulties that bring them to court. While plotting against each other on behalf of their dueling clients, the two develop a mutual and somewhat problematic attraction.
Is this guy cute? Mother, you've never lost a big case.
No, neither is he.
Julianne admitted that it was the couple's good off-screen relationship that helped when it came to filming their on-screen one.
When does he write books? I think you like him.
Sexual tension on television is an important storytelling element. It was used in the hit TV series Moonlighting. Starring Bruce Willis and Sybil Shepherd, the Emmy-winning romantic detective comedy had the two solve crimes and try to ignore the sparks flying between them.
There is one thing nicer. The traditional breakfast eve festivities.
Really?
You should try my sausage and egg sometimes. Serve it right there on the mattress.
Breakfast on bed, how you?
They created a tension that audiences couldn't get enough of.
Doing what I should have done all along. What I wanted to do originally. What I should have done last night. Stop that, David!
T is for Theatrical. Take your seats and on with the show. Our first theatrical performance is The Boy from Oz. The Boy from Oz is the dazzling, funny, heartbreaking story of the great entertainer Peter Allen, from his humble beginnings in the Australian outback to his meteoric rise to fame. The show is an energetic, high-intensity production, which is a proven crowd pleaser, especially when Hugh Jackman is in the lead. Put your hands together for the cast of Mamma Mia. Featuring magical storytelling music from the band ABBA, Mamma Mia tells the story of a daughter who, on the eve of her wedding, wishes to discover the identity of her father from 3 possible candidates. The musical is one of love, laughter, and is a huge international hit. Our final theatrical performance is Hairspray. Based on director John Waters' beloved 1988 musical comedy, the show follows a short, plump teenage girl who dances her way into the heart of Baltimore. Along the way, she changes the city's definition of beauty and single-handedly improves race relations as well. Is for Tall Tales, because bigger is better. Our first tall tale comes complete with giants, witches, and a big fish.
Because you've never told me a single fact.
I've told you 1,000 facts. Well, it's what I do. I tell stories.
Tim Burton's Big Fish is a story about a father who told his son what seemed like tall tales.
In telling the story of my father's life,
Bravo Company, go!
Doesn't always make sense, but that's what kind of story this is.
Ultimately, Big Fish is a heartwarming story about the relationship of a dying father and his son. And that's no tall tale. See if you can guess this tall tale. Let me give you a hint. It's about a puppet whose nose grows when he tells a lie. It's Pinocchio. The 2002 film was a mammoth production, creating an epic all-ages odyssey, a journey through fantasy lands, a swirl with talking animals, inventive toys, and dangerous villains at every turn.
I've never seen anything like it.
Our final tall tale involves a princess, a queen, and a quest for Prince Charming. When the first Princess Diaries movie was released in 2001, it instantly attracted a cult following among young and not so young women, all drawn to the fantasy of living a fairy tale life as a princess. Fans could live the fantasy again in the film sequel, Princess Diaries 2, Royal Engagement.
What kind of candidates are out there? Too old, too young. Prince William. I absolutely accept. He's not eligible. I just love to look at him. Me too.
T is for tearjerker. Again, grab the tissues. The film adaptation of Nicholas Sark's best-selling novel, The Notebook, is a sweeping saga of enduring love that leaves very few dry eyes. Set in the American South of the 1940s and the present day, the story follows the lives of young lovers Noah and Ali. Their story is revealed by an elderly man reading from a notebook to a woman with Alzheimer's disease.
I have a fiancé waiting for me.
What happened? Who did you choose?
Why didn't you write me? I waited for you for 7 years.
I wrote you every day for a year.
Keep the tissues coming for Finding Neverland. The heartwarming tale is set in the early 1900s in London. It's the true story of how Scottish playwright and author James M. Barrie struggled to bring to the stage for the first time a play called Peter Pan, or The Boy Who Would Not Grow Up.
He died, her husband. He left her with...
Peter Pan was inspired by his friendship with his neighbours, the Davies brothers, George, Jack, Michael and Peter, and their dying mother Sylvia.
It's just a dog.
Peter.
Just a dog? The wee bits of imagination.
Our final tearjerker is the Oscar-nominated Brokeback Mountain. Brokeback Mountain has sweeping western vistas, deserted dirt roads, lonesome men, bucking broncos, smouldering campfires, and as many sheep that can fit on a movie screen. It also has explosive sex scenes between two men whose lives are changed, disturbed and entwined after being hired as sheep tenders for a summer in Wyoming in the early 1960s. That's all we've got time for. Next time on The Gold Collection, we'll look at the unique letter U.